Hello, 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 people. Well, it's time to start. I want to welcome all of us to this amazing production. Guess what? Today is International Women's Day, and as it is already becoming a pattern with me, I always try to come on every International Women's Day to host a talk show. Um, you know, about the topic of the year for International Women's Day. And this year, we have an amazing topic. Very simple but powerful topic. And it will be nice if you can put a hashtag on that topic, right? Hashtag embrace equity. So the year 2023 International Women's Day, the topic of this year's Women's Day is hashtag embrace equity. How do we go about that? Is the big question that we need to answer. How do we go about that? Why is there no equality? Why do women seems to have been pushed to the background? Why have they been fighting for equity for so many years and it seems not to be happening? What can they do to correct the narrative and get into the game proper? Well, listen, this year started so busy for me, and I was almost forgetting this amazing production. I remember that of last year, I had Dr. Dr. Bewazi, and I had both a daughter and a mother on that program. I had my elder sister, and I had like another lady. We were like four ladies last year. We had a very wonderful time together. But this year, because of how busy this year has been to me, you can't believe I almost forgot. But thank God I didn't forget. Thank God I'm able to host a wonderful talk show. And what is so exciting about today's own is my sister, who is my guest. My goodness, you want to pay $1 million to get this woman in your show, right? But the relationship is big, guys. Listen, you have to learn how to cultivate relationship, all right? It took relationship to have this kind of person, this kind of IQ, this kind of intelligence, this kind of anointing, to agree to come to your show. I feel so blessed, people. And I'm gonna just welcome her. We're gonna be talking for just 45 minutes, minimum 1 hour maximum, but I promise you we're not gonna stay here for too long. And I mean, as the day progresses, maybe we'll come up with other shows in the course of the day. I can't say, but this show is the major show and it's important to me. And you want to go around and share love to all the women out there, every woman send them a wonderful text message. Wish them International Women's Day. This is a big day. All right. People don't make so much noise about it, but we have to. For example, in my home country, election was concluded recently, and the women representation is so low that it is heartbreaking. So low. I'm not sure we got up to 4 women in the Senate House, in the House of Representatives. Women are so important if we must change this world. All right. So let me make welcome my guest. This I am blessed to have this quality of resource person. I am blessed to have this quality of resource person all the way joining us all the way from Kenya. My goodness. Pastor Mrs. Ihoma Courage. Oh, Pastor Mrs. Ihoma Courage. I see you. I see you. And happy International Women's Day to you. Pastor Mrs. Today is International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day to you. Please share this broadcast to everybody. I mean, I will send you a link on WhatsApp. You can join us, Pastor Mrs. I would like you to come on board. Let women talk to women. Let's have a nice time. Today is International Women's Day, and I'm saying congratulations to all women out there. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest, my sister, great anointing, great intelligence, great exposure, doing mighty things in that beautiful country of Kenya, the one and only Dr. Christine Odawa. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make her feel welcome. Doctor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Yes, sir.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you.
Doctor, let me start by saying happy International Women's Day to you. Happy International Women's Day to you.
Thank you.
And again, I want to publicly appreciate you for, I know that to get you on a normal day might probably have to cost me, thousands of dollars because of the quality of person that you are, but agreeing to come, and again agreeing to come on a very short notice is something that I do not take for granted. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, meet my guest, Dr. Christine Odawa.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, doctor, man of God, Pastor Ike, you are a blessing to this generation. Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate. Thank you.
You're welcome, woman of God. Let me even start by getting our friends to know you. Do you mind starting up with a little bit of introduction, so that our friends all over can get to know who our guest is today?
Yes. Oh, All right. Introducing myself is a bit harder. It's easier for somebody to introduce you than you talking about yourself. I always find it easier, But in a nutshell, I'm a woman of God, and my name's, as you've heard, Christine Odawa, and I'm an all-rounded woman, if I can put it that way.
Mm,
Career-wise, ministerially, I think God has just graced us to be all wild. But I'm a founder of a ministry
mhm,
based in Cape Town for the last 15 years or so, but I'm originally from Kenya and I'm in Kenya right now. And also, we do a lot of women empowerment. We do a lot of what we call just what I call a capacity building,
mhm,
as a person,
mhm,
not necessarily as a woman, but as a person. But today we are zeroing in on women. Women, where do we start and how do we go from here? You understand? So
mhm.
basically, I'm just your neighbor next door who is striving to achieve, who is striving to press in into the agenda of God for women in this time and in this season. So I'm grateful to be here. Amen. Thank you so much.
Doc, it's a blessing to have you. And hey, ladies, let me say this. Every year they have a sign that goes with the year. So this year, the sign of this year's International Women's Day is just like you're giving yourself a hug. You see, like you're giving
Mm,
yourself a hug. You see how I did it? So all the ladies that are watching us, maybe you just want to love on yourself and give yourself a hug. This is
yeah.
the symbol of 2023 International Women's Day. Give
Yes.
yourself a hug and
Uh,
focus. The focus of this year's International Women's Day is embrace equity. Woman of God, when you were
mm,
introducing yourself, you talked about being all rounded, career,
yes.
ministry, family, and all
Yes.
of that. Let me start by
Mm,
asking you, let's get into this discussion. What do you understand? How can you interpret this year's theme, embrace equity? When they
mm.
say embrace equity, what does that mean? What are they trying to get us to understand?
I think it has a twofold perspective. There is the perspective from the male side and the perspective from the ladies, the female side. The
Hmm.
perspective from the female side would be that we need to
Wow.
step up from where step up from where the community has put you down on, step up from where gender has tradition has put you down on, step up from where the expectations of people has put you down on. And then the other perspective is from the male perspective, whereby men need to embrace the women and factor them in. Come on, somebody,
Wow.
factor them in. We are here to reign, factor us in, so in every sphere. So in that way, when those two come together, there will be a form of equilibrium, if you can put it that way, equity.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
using the word equity loosely in terms of really we cannot be very equal because our functionalities are different. But
Yeah.
what the clarion call is for the society to embrace women and women to
Hmm.
embrace themselves as women and not to feel downtrodden, or rather, not to allow others to put you down, so to speak. Yes.
Wow. 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 I want you to get deep a little bit. There's a
Mm.
point you made that is outstanding. Please talk to us about it. You talked about women embracing women. And you must
Yes.
have said that because it is obvious. I have also
Mhm.
noticed it that there is
Yes.
this fight between women. Please talk to how can we be, I know the Bible says be your brother's keeper, but
Yes.
how do we also learn to be our sister's keeper? What should
Yes.
women do to be able to embrace one another?
I think the bottom line is your you being fulfilled as a person.
Oh
When you are
God.
fulfilled as a person, you will not be bothered about you don't won't even have the time to put another down. What time will you have
Mm.
to put another down when I'm busy fulfilling my purpose? I'm busy accomplishing, I'm busy moving. In fact, I will lift you as I go along. I will carry you along and drag you along with me. Instead of
Wow.
spending all the energy, actually, it takes more energy to pull you down. But the issue is with women, if you find another woman pulling down another, 10 times most likely that other woman who is pulling you down has not fulfilled this purpose.
Oh
Is
my
busy mark
God.
timing somewhere. Is busy mark timing. Doesn't know who she is. Doesn't know what she's all about. So she can make you her agenda. You understand? So if you don't have an agenda of yourself, you will make other people your agenda. I'll be
Come on,
busy looking at my
say that
sister.
again. Say that again. Say that again. I wouldn't let that pass. I wouldn't let that pass. No, man. No, man. Say that again. Say that. Somebody needs to hear that.
I'm saying this, I'm reiterating that if you don't have your own agenda to fulfill, you will make other woman or another person an agenda, which means you be you. If I don't have my business to do, you become my business. Come on now. I will be busy what you're busy on because I'm not busy on anything. You understand? So the thing
Wow.
is that the bottom line is for a woman to build herself first and foremost. Look inward first before you look outward. When you look outward, it's
Mm.
just an indication that there is something wrong on the inside. That is just the bottom line. Come on,
Mm.
somebody.
Come on, somebody.
You know?
Ladies, let's say this. Let me say this, doctor. You
Yes.
made a point that
Yes.
I'm not sure I have heard from anybody before now. The
Uh-huh.
reason women fight each other is because they are not following after purpose. In fact,
Yes.
could it also be the difference between men and women? Could it also be the reason why women are looked down on? Because there's something about men. Men are purpose driven, they are driven by
Yeah.
goal, by ambition,
Yeah.
they are always chasing after something. Could
Mm-hmm.
it be that because women are not driven by purpose, that's why the world is looking at them as people who cannot function? But the question to you, mom, is how do women go about realizing, discovering, and fulfilling whatever their purpose is?
I think where we're going wrong is we've been mentored wrongly, if I can put it that way. We've been
Mm,
mentored, yes, but mentored wrongly.
mm,
Mentored wrongly because if you look at the male or the men generally they are not mentored at all. There's a
at
lack of
all, yes.
at all. But women, we have been mentored by our
Oh,
mothers,
wow.
but we have been all by our elder sisters or elder whatever. But we have been mentored wrongly. We have been
Oh,
mentored
wow.
to be subjected, to have a subjectivity, to be
Mm,
objectified. As you grow up,
mm,
you are always being told submit, and submission we are not told to accomplish. You're just told to be under. You have already been groomed, especially from an African context. You've already been
mm.
groomed to be the less than. There is no other.
Wow.
We find very few women who have accomplished. Okay, rather who have accomplished. Okay, let me use the word accomplish loosely in terms of accomplishment from the male perspective. There are two kinds of accomplishment.
Uh-huh.
There is accomplishment from the women perspective, whereby you are a
Uh-huh.
mother, you're a wife, you're the sister, you're a shoulder to cry on. We accomplish that very easily. But then there is
Mhm.
the other competitiveness in the world scenario, whereby we need to arise up to, whereby a
Mm.
man will see us as a challenge. Why? Because we are doing what they're doing, so to speak. And that is
Wow.
where there is a clarion call of equality, because people want you to achieve on the stage regardless of gender.
Wow.
It is your what? It is your accomplishment which will speak. By the time I realize who did this, and then when I realize it's a woman who did it, that's an added bonus.
Wow.
But the bottom line is the accomplishments need to be done, whether you're male or female. And for us now, we're coming now from that disadvantage whereby we've not been groomed that way. As you've said rightly, correctly say that male are purpose driven. They not say purpose driven, they're trophy driven. You
Mm.
understand? Trophy driven, because purpose is different. You understand? Purpose, you may not have a trophy, you may be fulfilling purpose without trophy.
Oh my God, you are sharing wisdom here. You are sharing
You
wisdom here, doctor.
Men, they're just trophy driven. Whatever
Yes.
will give them a trophy to make them their ego boost up. You understand? It may or may not fulfill purpose, but but generally, a man is driven in that line. Women, we are driven to be under. You
Mm.
understand? So it becomes very difficult, or rather, it takes a lot for you to arise from that foundation. You understand? To break
Yeah.
through those, they say a glass ceiling, and rightly so, glass ceiling,
Yeah.
because a
Yeah.
glass can be broken. You understand? So a glass can be broken. So it is a glass ceiling. So we are coming from that place whereby my mind, I've already been told I need to be a good woman. I need to be submitted at work. I need to be submitted at home. I need to be submitted everywhere. And then when you try to stand your ground and to arise up, they tell you you are too aggressive. Who said women cannot be aggressive? Come on now.
Mm.
Right? And for you to do anything and accomplish anything, there's got to be a level of aggression. So that is
Come
what
on.
I'm saying. The other level, the second part, the men need to factor in that a woman can exude the same press. Let me use the word press. Maybe that word press is much better than aggression, because aggression sounds negative. You
Right.
understand? Or that driven, that drive,
That's right.
that passion. You
Mm.
understand? Because we've
Mm.
got to have a passion too. And that passion, you don't put me in the box of saying now you're like a man now. No, man, I'm
Mm.
just passionate. I'm just passionate. And
You
that
know,
is the
doc,
one that
doc,
makes me wake up in the morning.
doc, I have to say this. Real men don't put women down. Real
All
men
right.
would want women to fly. They will
Yes.
want women to fly. They don't put women down. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you see, I have four daughters, four girls. And when I look at the world and I see how marginalized women are indeed marginalized. When I was starting, I
Yes.
talked about election in my home country.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor, you guys have a beautiful election. Your election was clean, it was clear, it was transparent. God answered you people's prayer. God gave you guys in Kenya a Messiah as it is. And I'm praying that the man will continue to be good. I knew of what the church did. I knew of what the church in Kenya did. I knew of how everybody fought to make sure that a righteous man ascended the throne, right? But my own country and the election we just had, there are not too many women representation. The way women are looked at is irritating. Now, when I look at that world and I know that I have four daughters, I always ask myself, how do I train these? Because, man, listen, if there's going to be the chief medical director of any hospital, if my daughter is there, it cannot go to a man. I mean, I want to train daughters that can compete with men and win them in the game. I think it was Steve Harvey that wrote a book, because that's the next question I want to ask you. Steve Harvey wrote a book and titled the book something like how to act like a woman but think like a man. Now,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
nothing is wrong with your feminism. Nobody is asking you to take away your feminism, your
Yes.
emotionalism, all those beautiful
Yes.
unique attributes of women. Nobody is asking you to
Yes.
bend those, right?
Yes.
But how can
Yes.
you fit in the world of men? People might argue, no, this is not the world of men. But when you look at what is going on in the
It
world,
is.
it literally
It
seems
is.
the world of men. As if having provided a solution that you can act like a woman and think like a man. Now that brings me to the question that I want to ask you. How can women compete? And
Mm.
by compete, I don't use it in a negative term. By
Yes.
compete, what I'm thinking in my head is how can we increase the percentage so that
Mm.
now the number of women in politics will increase, the number of
Mm.
women that are CEOs will increase, the number of women that have companies that is listed in the stock market will increase. How do
Mm.
we come out and play
Mm.
this game favorably?
Mm. All right. Oh, I think like we have already mentioned one or two parameters which we can do. First and foremost, you are very correct in saying it is a world of men. It
Hmm.
is a man's world, exactly. It is a patriarchy world. You understand? So I think, my second point, the way I mentioned that the men need to factor in that women do exist, but then how can they factor that in if women can have not what do you call internalized the levels of which the men can appreciate? You
Hmm.
understand? It's just like, for instance, now when you're putting a weighing scale, and women are here, men are here in terms of intellectualism. And it's not
Right.
because women are less, no, but it's just because they have achieved faster than women. You understand? So they are already here, and the society takes them in better, embraces them better than the women. So now a woman must use the same standards a man has, not less. Same standard a man have. For instance, if a man is what do you call doing PhD level to be that CEO, you
Hmm.
cannot expect them to choose you with only another undergraduate degree. No,
Man,
man, it's not gonna work like that.
preach.
So for you to reach their level, don't expect lesser favor because you're a woman.
Come on.
So study in the same level they have studied. And thank God for the institutions. It's your brain that determines, it's your intellectualism that determines, and your money, of course. Not necessarily, if I go there and I want to do engineering and I have the brains, if I pass, so be it. I'll be on the same level with a man. You understand? Now, once you have achieved the qualifications of which a man has in the same area of what do you call maybe in government or in business or whatever, then we can fight on an equal basis for opportunities. Because
Mhm.
right now, opportunities are geared for the men in almost everything. You understand? And they have just put a very little. In fact, I saw in our parliament, they say that there's supposed to be a two-thirds female affirmative action that is supposed to be two-thirds women. But as it is, I don't think if it's a third woman. You understand? So there's still the policies are there. Written down policies are there to empower women, but on the ground, things are different. On the
Mm.
ground, we've got to do a grassroots level empowerment of women to change their mind. Like what you said, Steve said, think like a man. It's your mind. It's all about the mind in here, your
Mm.
intellectualism in here, your life skills, your mind life skills. I always say we are emotional beings. And sometimes emotionality disadvantages us in the sense that by the time you think logically, you have already shoot yourself in your own foot, so to speak.
Wow.
By the time you engage your emotion level, you have already shot yourself. So also it calls for wisdom, knowing how to what to engage, not to lose your femininity as such. And when you talk about femininity, we're not talking about subjugation. We are talking about you using the power of your emotionality, because there is a place and position where you can use emotionality to your advantage. And that is where women sometimes we overdo it. Just like the men, they do have the egoism. You understand? And egoism, if you use it everywhere, it will become a disadvantage to you. So it is just that balance of which it is not easy. And I think you can correct me, but I do believe, sir, that where you are will determine what step to take for time.
Mm.
Where you are. If you realize, for instance, I've already accomplished intellect. For instance, I'm an accountant by profession. I'm a banker, I'm an accountant by profession. I've done banking. I've been a banker for a number of years. I've done cypher public accountancy. And at the same time, I went and did theology, practical theology, and I mixed that up a little bit, business management. That's what I'm saying. I'm all rounded. When it comes to music, I went and studied music a little bit, almost near Bachelor of Music somewhere, but I didn't finish it. I'm not saying I finished it. You understand? So there is a lot that you can do. But if you've realized you've already achieve those levels of the man level, so to speak, intellectualism, logically, then now you have a what do you call, you have that word, that authority to stamp your foot down, so to speak, and you can use that as a way or as a gauge to make way or to make pathways. You understand? So it starts from you assessing where you are now as a lady. Where are you at now? Do you need to study more in your area of influence? Or do I need to, you understand, to just expand my my relationship wise? Because some things you don't need to go to school for. You can learn from the associations or from the people. Do I need to go reconnect myself afresh? But where are you at now? Assess where you are now, then build from there, stepwise movement. If you can allow me to say this, as a woman of God, as a minister in the gospel, many people ask me this question: how have you reached the far that you've reached as a woman with all these issues, especially in the church? I always say this, and that has been my mantra. Everywhere I
Hmm.
go or wherever I go, I don't see myself as a woman.
Okay.
I see myself as a spirit, as a human being. Period.
Boy.
That way, I will not be focusing on who is talking to me or what disadvantage. I will go there straight on and focus. And once I'm done doing what I'm doing, if I'm speaking somewhere or everything, then you can come back and talk to me. By the way, you were talking, I don't know, like what? I said, okay, cool, okay, okay, fine. I can do a retrospect and see. But for me to move, to advance, I always have to see myself not in the gender sense. If I do that, I will be so conscious of the limitations around me, especially in the church. I'll be so conscious of the limitations around me. They will check you. What age are you in? Are you married? Do you have kids? Have you studied? What countries have you gone to? What education level are you? You understand? All those limitations they ask of women, but rarely will they ask of men.
Oh boy. Doctor, listen, I am so blessed that you are bringing out this point today because I want to ask you to address the limited and unfortunate and weak approach that a lot of women have adopted as a way to rise. And some of them call it women power, some of them call it bottom power, right? Some of them would quickly imagine or think about, oh, use what your mama gave you to get what you want, right? And unfortunately, not many women is not many women understand the wisdom you are sharing today, because I think there's no problem with equality. To this year's topic is embrace equity. Equity deals with, like you said before, equity deals with equilibrium, a situation where you are at par with men, you are at the same level. And if we are to go biblical, God made them, He made them male and female. He made them male and female. God made them equal, right? Yes,
Yes.
if the female expression of the man manifested much later, but right from Genesis, the first time where they were created, God made them male and female. So I
Mhm.
don't think there's a problem with equality. I don't think there's a problem with equity. I don't think there's a problem with equilibrium. But there are standards in life. You gave an example. If a company is trying to employ and they are looking for someone that has a PhD, right? If they will not take you because you're a woman, if you don't have the PhD, you see, they will take
Yeah.
the person who has that PhD, and most times we notice that it is always men. Now, but
Mm.
before you address that, okay, two questions. Let me make it two questions. Some women will argue that, oh, the life of women is not easy. We are busy. We have family. We have children. What time do we have to go get that master? What time do we have to get those PhD? What time do we have to get all of that that will make us compete with men favorably? You know, a lot of women we bring that argument. Can't you see how busy we are? We are raising children. We are pregnant today. We are raising children the next day. We are, they say they don't have time. So, how? What is the wisdom you will share? Two questions. How can women make time to be able to invest in themselves so that the world will help them, so that they will be equal? If you put solid investment, you will be equal with anybody, no matter who the person is. Now, what then do you have to say? The second part of the question is, what then do you have to say with all these other women who are taking a very unfortunate, dangerous route? Well, I don't have time for PhD. I know what to do to make all the money. Sadly, some of them are making so much money, buying big, big houses, and they are getting it. What do you have to say to those women who think they can rise by what a lot of people call bottom power?
Wow, wow. Firstly, well, what I can say is this: God is not wicked.
Mm-hmm.
He empowered the woman. He did. If we look, women, if you look intrinsically, women are multitaskers. Men are not.
Yes,
A man can handle, if you give a man the one thing, the other will be messed up by the time the other is done. Men
absolutely.
can't handle two things at the same time, and that's
Yes.
a disadvantage to them. But a woman can. A woman can be cooking there at the same time is watching the child there at the same time. I don't know, is doing what,
Mm,
and I'm privileged to have seen that example of a woman who was a major multitasker in the person of my mother. My
mm,
mom, she gained her first degree when in her 40s. She
wow,
was studying while we were going to school in primary school. She will sit on a mat after she's a teacher. She will go after coming from work. She will sit on a mat there in her bedroom and tell us, kids, go do your homework. I'm busy studying. When
wow,
holiday time comes, she leaves us and goes to the campus. Live in campus for 1 month if there is a holiday. Lives
wow,
us with dad to go study and gaining her degrees and everything from she rose up the ranks. We saw her doing it,
wow.
multitasking. So I believe what you see, that is what I'm saying. We don't have proper mentors. You
Mm,
understand? You don't think it's possible because you've not seen it done. So you
yeah,
undergrade yourself, yet you have the capacity to multitask. A woman can plan her day in such a way that 2 hours of study, 2 hours of this, so long as your heart is in it.
mhm,
So it boils down to the purpose. What is your purpose in life? If your purpose, if you really, really are purpose driven, you will do anything to accomplish, and not anything in terms of the second category of women who will shortcut to get anything. I'm not talking about that, but I'm
right.
talking about you achieving. You can maximize your time within that season. For instance, wisdom will dictate if it's a season for you to for childbearing. You can
Mhm,
you can take some of those things which you want to accomplish, put them on hold for a short while. You
mm,
raise up the child maybe to 2 years, 3 years. After that, do add some other things, change, adjust, well, calibrate. That is the word. Calibrate
mm,
yourself. Amen. Calibrate yourself with the seasons so that you know
mm,
what to accomplish, what to accomplish, what not to accomplish. Let me give an example of myself. When I was working in the bank before I went into full time ministry, I remember in the evenings I will clock out. You know, we say clocking out. Is it clocking out or sign out from work? five
yeah.
o'clock in the evening. and I will take the next bus going to the studio to record my music. Sometimes I
Wow.
will record the music till 10 p.m. at night, go back in the house, sleep for a few hours, up by 5 in the morning to be at work by 8. You understand? And I did that for a while. And I recorded my first album, second album for a while. After that, I can't do that anymore because things have changed. Seasons have changed. I had to go full-time school. So which means I have to stop preaching so that I go to class, theology now. You change now.
Wow.
And then now when it is time for
Wow.
you to settle down family wise, you change. You adjust, you calibrate yourself with the seasons. But I think that comes from an empowered position. But from a woman who is not empowered, may not see that, may not even know, she will feel stuck. And that is where now we need tools of empowerment like this video. We need tools like this talk, this conversation. We need
Mm.
such tools whereby we can reach out to women and say, sometimes I always talk when I talk to my fellow ladies. Sometimes you'll find somebody, you find a lady just seated thinking so deeply, and you wonder, what are you thinking about? Said, apostle or a doctor, there is something in me. I don't know how to get out from here, how to up my game from here. And that is when now you need counseling, somebody to just counsel you career wise,
Mm.
socially. No, not just marriage wise, because we always run for counseling for marriage, but we don't run for counseling for purpose, for purpose accomplishment. We don't go for counseling. We don't want to listen to nothing. You understand? So I think it is that place whereby to get to know how do I go from here. The second question which you are asked is that one thing that I always say is this: whatever you do to get, you have to continue doing to maintain. Whatever you do to get, you will have to continue doing the same thing to maintain it. So if you use sleeping around to get that position, believe me, that character you'll have to continue on to maintain that position. If you slept your way into leadership, if you slept your way into that CEO position, if you slept away your way into, or into whatever, into getting that house, or that will become your character. And believe me, you will be way of you are shortcutting your life.
Mm.
Integrity, which is the oneness. I always say integrity means one, the integer. It means your oneness of your mind, oneness of your will, oneness of your morale, of your moral. It is all in cohesion. But if your heart is telling you what you're doing is wrong, but your mind is telling you by every means possible, I say the means, the end justifies the means. No, the end does not justify the means. The means
Mm.
matter. How you get it
Mm.
matter. The process matter. In fact, how you get it, the process, the calibration, that is the most important because it builds you into who
Mm.
you are as a person. Not just what you attain, the accomplishment, but as a person. So I
Wow.
believe those two parameters. You getting to really check your season, where you are as a person, intellectually, emotionally, where you are. Some women, because we're emotional beings and because of where we've come from. Okay, you allow me to say this. For instance, if a man goes through some issues, childhood, growing up.
Right.
Probably, by the time he internalizes everything, it will take a lot for a man to internalize things, isn't it? It will take a long
Yeah.
time. By the time he really internalizes it and it becomes a part and parcel of him, and it affects the way he does his thing and everything, it has really taken a lot of that for him to become. But a woman, it doesn't take all that because we're emotional beings. Anything which happens to
Mm-hmm.
us, we take it in immediately. You understand? So it disadvantages us. So most times, before a woman even embraces her purpose, she has got to be healed first. She's got to
Yes.
be healed, and we've got to start there. What has amputated your rising? What has
Mm.
amputated your legs? What has
Mm.
amputated your spirit? And then we
Mm.
start from there, heal first. And then from there, now your mind will be opened to see, how do I go from here? Do I now build intellectually? Because really, if you're broken inside, nothing else will matter. Nothing else will matter. Whether equality, equity, equilibrium, whatever, it will not matter if you're hurting in. So you've
Right.
got to start from there. And most times, 10 times than not, women, we've got to deal with the healing of emotions. We've got to heal first.
My God, this is mind blowing, doctor. I want you to talk.
Amen.
I want you to talk to us about they sound alike, but it's important in this topic to know the difference so that you can advise women on how to engage these two. The first is equity. The second is equality. I mean, what's the difference? When we because on this year's International Women's Day embrace equity, our focus has been on equity. We've been teaching women the nuggets, the wisdom, the principles, the keys they must deploy to be able to, be accepted, to be able to be equal. But what is the difference between equity and equality? Does men have a place that is different from that of women? How do you differentiate between equity and equality?
All right. I think it goes down. Okay, it's just a play of words, so to speak. Yeah, it may be so similar but not so similar at the same time, depending on who is talking. Depending on who is talking. Equality means, I think it's from the standpoint of a woman. Equality means don't downtrod me. If
Oh,
if
yeah.
a woman is speaking, if a woman is speaking and says, I want equality, I want to be equal. In other words, you're putting me down, so raise me up to your level. And then
Mm,
when we talk about equity, it's more policy, whereby we put strategies, or rather we put things on in hard writing. I see it from that perspective, in hard writing, whereby whether the women accept or the men accept it or not, it is written that we are
mm,
all equal. Equity. So it puts it gives, what do you call, either governments or institutions, the what do you call, the mandate, the
mm.
equity mandate. It gives them the mandate to rubber stamp the authority, whether somebody is male chauvinist or not. You understand? And I think that equity thing addresses more the men than the women. It
Yes.
addresses more the men, because
You know,
it's like you taking the hammer and hammering it down and saying, come on now, there's got to be equity here. With two-thirds majority women, or women are, you understand. But then if a woman talks about equality, she's actually crying out.
I
She's
love it.
actually
I, I just
crying
love
out. It's a cry. It's a
I just
cry. Yes.
I just love the approach, the approach you are taking and the wisdom you are bringing out of it. I mean, look at that word embrace. And you just gave us the right way to embrace, because that word embrace means to consciously accept. And one of the ways to do that, like you say, is to make a law out of it. Make a law. A
Mm,
nation should be making a law out of it. Government should be making a law out of it. We should be able to
mm,
state legally that in every street, in every society, in every community, so percentage of women is expected to be actively engaged.
yeah.
So when you make it a law, I think that is one of the biggest takeouts for me this year's
Yeah.
production. I mean, from what you have shared, that is one of the biggest takeouts for me. It should be
Mm,
written. It should be written. And this brings me talking about it being written. It brings me to the scripture,
yes. Yes.
where they came to, I think it was Pilate. They say, no, 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 you cannot write on the cross of Jesus. You cannot write that that he's the king of the Jew. You cannot write that. We need you to write that he said. Pilate
Yes.
told them, you know what is written is written. I can't do anything about it. I've already written it, I can change it. So that's the beauty of documentation. When we write things down as a
Mm.
law, as a
Yeah.
principle, as a legal tender, generation after generation. I mean, a woman of God, and
Yeah.
because and this will be about my last question. Do you know that since this was started, and we need to talk now. This is the last question, and I think maybe it's the most important question to me because since this was started, for very many years now, women have actually been crying for acceptability. They've been crying for the bias over them to come to an end. They've been I mean, last year, the topic of last year is break the bias. They've been crying for the bias to be broken. They've been crying for inclusivity. They've been crying for acceptability. They've been crying for equality. They've been crying for equity for many years. For many years. Then I wonder, why is it that generation after generation, this which women have been crying for is not really being done or given to them? There are nations today that women can't even drive.
Mm.
There are nations today that there are nations that women can't show their face in the name of religion. They can't show their face.
Mm.
They are being treated like they are not human beings. I love what you
Mm.
said, that what makes you um, overcome all these bias that women go through is that you don't see yourself as a woman, you see yourself as a spirit, which
Mm.
actually you are. We are all spirits that occupies a body. Now, the problem is you allow the body to dictate your identity. Oh my goodness. My
Yes.
goodness. I have to say that again. The problem most women are having is that they allow the body to dictate their
Mhm.
identity.
Yeah.
Instead, it is the spirit that should be dictating your identity. So
Mm.
you are a
Yeah.
spirit that occupies a body. You don't have to allow
Mm.
anybody to look down on you on the
Yeah.
basis of your bodily configuration.
Yeah.
It's a spirit
Mm.
occupying the body, and that spirit is capable of doing anything. So
Mm.
the asking now, which is gonna be my last question, because I promise we're gonna be here for 1 hour, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep to that promise. We have 52 minutes, so we have now about 7 minutes to wrap this up. Now the question
Thank
I'm asking is,
you.
are we gonna come back in the next 10 years and
Mm.
our daughters and women are still crying for inclusivity? How can women really make progress to the extent that they are indeed included in the operations of this world? I mean, I think about the countries, the nations of the world. How many nations we have all over the continent? How many of them have women presidents? I mean,
Mm.
for example, 190 something nations in the world.
Mm.
How many are women presidents? Who says a woman
Mm.
president? What do we
Mm.
step up? Because I don't want in the next 20 years women are still crying, oh, we need to be included, oh, we are being marginalized. How can they ensure that they are included and set the thing right for their daughters not to cry the way their mothers cry?
Mm. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Wow. This is I think that is where the battle begins. That is where the battle begins. And I think you can agree with me. The onus, I know we are focusing on women, but
Mhm.
actually the onus and the responsibility of equity, embracing equity, is not on the women. It's on
Mm.
the men. I think we are focusing on the wrong place.
you benefited now.
Because if you are to look at it that from just a wide perspective, who made the laws in the first place? It's the man. Who is the
Mm,
one? Who is the aggressor? Is the man. Who is
mm,
putting down the other? It's the man. Everything. But then we are telling the women embrace. Okay, which is good. Which is good. It's a good point. But I think the bigger burden is on the man. If we can, if now, okay, let me put it this way. We already know men are not mentored as it is. The percentage of men being mentored is very low. You understand? The father, we have a lot of there's a big generation of fatherless sons. You
absolutely.
understand? There's a we have a bigger percentage of household run by women than men. So in other words, the men who are the culprits, so to speak, to put down a woman, nothing is being done to them to change their mind about a woman.
Mm,
So if we can maybe turn it's a two-edged sword, so to speak. But I'm thinking if we can be able to zero in on the men a little bit, tell the men a woman is not less than you. A woman has the same grace like you, though she's wired differently. If you can start there, and just it will be easier on the woman. Even if a woman now is just has to build her intellectualism and build and a touch up, we do some touch ups here and there. It will be
mm,
easier when the playing field has already been the walls and the boulders has already been what do you call put down from the men's side. You
absolutely.
understand? But now here
Absolutely.
we are, we okay, because now we can't expect the men to really. That's why I started by saying factoring in, embracing. That is to the man. Factor the woman in. Don't do things thinking that you are the only species in the earth. There is another species called the gender.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I'm sounding as if I'm a scientist. Oh Lord, help me. You understand?
right.
You know,
Gender.
the gender, not species, but gender. Yes,
Mm,
but if we let me give an example. For
right.
instance, now, let's say if somebody is to be impressed by you, in other words, in the mind, he had already downgraded you. If you come to me and say, I'm impressed that you've done this, oh, really? If you expected me to do this, you will not be impressed. Are we getting my drift? You will not be
Yeah.
impressed by what I'm doing. If you knew I had the grace and the authority and the power to do it, it will be like normal to you. Oh, that's normal. A woman can do it. But in your mind, it's already down. A woman can do it. So if I'm doing it, then oh wow, I'm impressed. And you're a woman. You see? So that speaks a lot about the mentality that needs to be broken, the mental strongholds. The women's mental strongholds is that we've been groomed to feel that we are less than. So we need to break that. The man's stronghold is for you to be told that you are the superior gender, that a woman does not exist. You do your thing, not even thinking that a woman is around. For instance, now, if you're if you go to some organizations, nowadays they're trying, like you said, you have to put it in some laws. You will find that even the space, the way they make the thing, they don't consider that you're a woman. The thing needs to be more softer, more, more palatable, if I can use that word, for a woman. But they
Mm,
just put hardcore seats, hardcore everything. Why? Because they expect all of you to be men. You understand? If it's making any sense, you know. So what I'm saying in a nutshell, the
mm,
man needs to be educated concerning women. Who is a woman? And to break down some of those paradigms, and
mm.
especially in our African context. Oh my God,
Right, right, right.
African, it's worse than the Western context. Is worse. Western context, they've really gone a notch higher in embracing women.
Mm.
African. Oh my God, it is so disheartening to see, even in the church, how people deal. And if you can allow me to say this, the Bible itself was gender biased.
Mm.
Let's start from there.
Mm.
But the scriptures itself, the way it was written, in the time that it was written, in the Judaic time,
Right.
Hebrewic time that it was
Right.
written, women were nowhere to be seen. If you see
Absolutely.
one woman arising here and there, you just see a sporadic woman arising sporadically here and there. She had to really break the barriers for her to really be there. You
Oh, that's
understand? So
true.
so you will find that we can use the other context of the Bible. You will use the other context of the Bible to do what? To use it as a tool to bring down more the woman. So the woman position in the church is worse than in the world,
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
especially in our African context.
Yes.
Especially in our African context.
We need to break
You
that.
understand? If the samples that are coming in, maybe we will edit this whatever before. Are we live? We are live. I think so.
Yes, we. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. So what am I
But
saying?
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Especially, especially the Proverbs 31 narrative.
Right.
That Proverbs 31 narrative is not embracing equity. Is not embracing women empowerment. Is actually being used to pull down the woman to a certain degree insidiously. You understand? Because it makes the woman do everything and the man is just sitting at the gates. What is the man sitting at the gates doing?
Ah, now,
What is the man sitting at the gates doing? Huh? He's just seated at the gates. The definition of that man in Proverbs 31 woman, it is sitting at the gates. The
mm,
woman is working overnight, going getting the pearls from this side, taking from this side, doing business on this, which is good. But what is the man doing? She has usurped the place of the man also.
mm,
So I think a balance needs to be brought in
right.
terms of as we talk about the Proverbs 31 woman, we should also talk about, and in fact, if you're to use the Proverbs 31 woman in our current context, no man with their egos will embrace a Proverbs 31 woman.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. They'll be intimidated by a
I
Proverbs 31 woman.
wish we have
They will be
time.
intimidated.
I wish
Yes.
we have. I wish we have time to talk about. And that is another. But people, I think we're gonna make our time. I'm gonna bring Doctor back again. This intimidation, there are many young ladies, they have done what you asked them, what you discussed in this video. They have improved themselves intellectually, they have shown progress in business, they are doing so well for themselves, they bought their house legitimately, bought their car legitimately, they are doing good, right? But they are having another problem where men are running away from them because men are intimidated at the level of these women's success. But we don't have time to deal with that. We will deal with that in our next video. I think this discussion is a continuous discussion. But don't forget, look at behind me, look at the sign. This is the sign for 2023 International Women's Day. Just you have to embrace yourself. You have to show yourself love. You have to just, all the women. I wish women can take selfies of themselves doing this, take pictures of themselves doing this because it's already going viral. You do this, you do hashtag IWD 2023 and you post it because we have to embrace equity. God indeed made us equal. Even right from Genesis chapter 1, we are made equal. Equal. And we have to embrace it. I love the word embrace. We have to embrace it, accommodate it, allow it to become the order of the day. So that, like I said, women will not cry this year and 20 years to come, they are still crying again. I've been talking with my very beautiful sister all the way from the lovely tourism country, Kenya. Country I'm dreaming to visit very soon by God's grace. Beautiful. I've heard a lot of so many nice things about that country. And this lady here, this woman of God, is she has a ministry. She's engaged in so many things, helping women, teaching women, empowering women, doing a lot of things for the kingdom of God and for the society. And you have enjoyed of her wisdom today. I told you in the beginning, her IQ is something else. Her ability to approach point. Listen, if you listen to me, you would have to be a quality person to have the short notice that she got and do justice to this conversation. I really do appreciate you, ma'am. God bless you. Thank you for this honor. And we hope to have you again to talk about this intimidation that women face when they are successful, and we need to address men in that video how that they should act. Hey man, let me give you a secret. Go for successful ladies. I said it. I said it. Go for successful ladies. That is where what you are looking for is. Did you hear me? What you are looking for. Don't run away. Go for successful ladies. You will thank me after. Because I noticed that men are running away from women who took time to equip themselves, intellectualize themselves. There are women who are sound intellectually. They they are just brilliant. They are doing well in business, they are doing well in career, they are doing well in academics. But I know some of them, the bitterness of their hearts is not having anybody to call their own, simply because men are intimidated by them. But men, I've given you a secret. Go for those people. Man, listen, go for those people, and you will thank me later. But we're gonna discuss that in our next video by God's grace. I've been talking with my sister and my friend, the one and only Dr. Christine Odawa, all the way from Kenya. Thank you so. I wish you know how grateful I am. Yeah, I wish you know how grateful I am. There are no, and I mean, you just exemplified what a quality woman is, because there are not many women, not many of them, that you can give short notice and they will be equal to the task. But you explained in this video, that women should improve themselves.
Yeah.
They should invest themselves. So I used to say something. I'm a man, and men we have a way we think.
Yeah.
And if women can start thinking like men, maybe they'll start stepping up and maybe even knocking us off. Knock these people, knock them off here. They've been ruling this time, yeah, our time to rule. But I always say to myself that I'm better off living than getting rid.
Yeah.
To the point that if I'm woken up from sleep and I'm given an assignment, if I wasn't even allowed an opportunity to think about it, say, there you go, take it down. I'm able to do it. And if women can start thinking like that, you guys, I mean, if I have a business to employ a CEO, I'll just employ my sister. Because how can I tell somebody to come on a video in a very short time and something there, and she spoke as though she's been studying for the past 3 months. Oh my God, that is just an amazing brilliance. And I thank
Amen.
you, God. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Amen.
Okay, I'm gonna let you to continue with your day, and I'm gonna end this video right now. I
Thank
so I will put this video back again. I will play it all through today, so that
you.
people who are sleeping right now, when they wake up, they're able to also watch it, because you really
Okay.
did justice.
Amen.
Maybe the organization that is in charge of International Women's Day would, I'm gonna tag them. Maybe they will contact you and say, hey, we saw your video, we want you to come talk to us more on today.
Mhm.
And it's a blessing. God bless you, ma'am. God bless you.
Thank you so much. God bless you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank
Thank
you.
you. God bless
All
you.
right.
Well, people of
Okay,
God,
bye.
here we are bringing this amazing production to an end. I've been speaking with my friend, my sister, the Honorable Dr. Christine Odawa. She was my guest on this production. She did justice. She did justice. You need to go to the beginning of this video and watch it to the end. You will be so blessed you did. She said a lot of things that I'm thinking maybe we should put it in a book. She said some things, man. Government should hear this, president should hear this, men should hear this, women should hear this. God has blessed our world with a woman like this. She is a blessing to this world that God created. And you see, I'm so blessed and privileged to have her as a sister and as a friend. Well, I want to again say Happy International Women's Day to all women out there. Today's topic or this year's topic is embrace equity. All right. So, women, don't let nobody put you down. No, you are not just a body, you are a spirit. What men can do, like the popular saying goes, women indeed can do better. And that's the truth. You better believe it. Believe that what men can do, you guys can do better. I mean, men cannot even multitask, but you guys multitask so easily. Men can carry pregnancy. You guys bring life into the world. I mean, it will be foolishness for us men to think I think we are the one who should even be crying for equality because you guys are more than not in some. We are the ones who are marginalized now. I'm beginning to realize it just right now. You guys do a lot that we can never do, and it's a blessing. God put you in our lives as men to make our life so sweet, so better. There's no discrepancy, there's no disparity, there's no difference, there's no class, there's no there shouldn't be no marginalization. It should be teamwork, men, women coming together in perfect synergy to make this world a better place. That will be my last word on this production. I remain your friend and your brother, H.E. Samuel Nnamdi, Reverend Gentleman, Ambassador of the State of Israel, and I'm reaching you from Dallas, Texas. Hey, I promise you I will bring my friend and my sister again, Dr. Christine. We have another topic that we want to deal with. Women who intimidate men. We want to talk to those women on how they can go about it. I want to talk to men on how they should stop being intimidated. That's another interesting topic and it's loading and it will come your way sometime soon. Just keep watching this space. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe on my YouTube page. The link is up there. Google Dr. Christine's name on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow her on all of her platforms. Okay, subscribe to her ministry page, follow her whenever she's live. She is a blessing, and you can testify to that just watching this production. God bless you. Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, depending on where you're watching from. Until I see you again in my next production, please continue to remain in the atmosphere of divine joy, divine peace, divine prosperity. Love you much. God bless you. And again, happy International Women's Day. Bye bye now.